What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I am Frankfurter. That is Magically Average. And today we're talking about the news that came out of Anime NYC. And we're also doing a little bit of a comparison between Anime NYC and Anime Expo, just for the fact that you were able to attend both. So I'm going to ask you various questions as about to your time there and just the differences between the two cons. But first and foremost, let's get through some of the news roundup that we saw at Anime NYC this year. Because I feel like this convention historically is about on par with Anime Expo, if not a little bit more, as to announcements.
Eh,
Because well, it's about 50-50, but we're gonna
eh.
start off. Okay, well, fine. You do that then. We're gonna start off with from these are all gonna be from Anime News Network. So if you want to read more about them, by all means, go to Anime News Network, give them a click, etc. Uh, Mangamo license just a bunch of new things. So Mangamo, which is a publisher apparently, which I've never heard of,
Mm-mm.
to be completely honest. But
You look
they
for my
have
business cards.
say that
Nope.
again.
I was looking through business cards. I met some people, but
Business,
Mangamo is
business,
not one of
business.
business.
Gotcha. They announced at its panel on Friday at Anime NYC that will release the following titles in English: "My Gyaru Wife's Secrets," 12 centimeters promise with a cool girl. Which wow, that sounds yep. "I'm that monster girl you once helped out. A middle-aged teacher finds unexpected popularity in another world." That's all one title. Uh, Damodol and the only fan in the world, and also I offer my manliness to you. So,
Well,
Mangamo is a mobile manga subscription service that gives readers ad-free unlimited access to legally licensed and professionally localized titles. So that's what the
I
app is, or that's what the publisher is.
no joke. I've read two of them.
Fair enough. But yeah, now you can read them not on Manga Dex.
Oh,
You can read them on a verified
legally
license,
legally
legally
licensed to
licensed,
use to
yeah,
use their
location.
terms. A legally
Correct.
licensed version of it from locally
Correct.
sourced translators.
Yes. And we're just gonna breeze through these because there's not much to talk about these unless something like sticks out to you or me. I'm not gonna stop. We're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Seven Seas had a bunch of announcements at Anime NYC on its panel on Friday as well as to what it's licensing. They are going to be licensing Dungeon Elf. What's a dungeon without treasure chests? A Prince of a Friend. Catnips everywhere. Girl Meets Rock, which, by the way, if you've not read, this series is delightfully wonderful. I absolutely love this series. It is on Manga Plus if you want to get a little bit ahead of it, but otherwise, Seven Seas is going to be licensing that one. Die Dark Deluxe Edition omnibuses, which Jesus Christ, golly, like more deluxe edition omnibuses for us.
I have to
Like
imagine I have to
I'm
imagine it's to
excited,
get
but at the
people like ready for the anime, right?
yeah, you would hope so, but, yeah, there's that, and then, they've also got the 12 Kingdoms audiobook, which is interesting, and then they are also, brand new, sorry, I'm just making sure if this is
La la
print
la
or if
lo lo
this
lo lo
is
lo.
exactly, if it's gonna be print or if it's gonna be, online somewhere, but I can't tell. But they are also licensing History of the Kingdom of Orkson, How the Barbarian Orcish Nation Came to Burn Down the Peaceful Elfland light novel.
Oh, okay.
Um, yes, which is it's a light novel and a manga, so they're licensing both. And then they are also licensing the light novel for The Dangers in My Heart. And
Oh,
they will also be licensing How to Survive as a Maid in a Horror Game, which is a comic rather than manga, or I don't know why it specifies comic, but
hmm.
yeah, that's an
Four
interesting
panel,
one. Potentially. It doesn't say
maybe.
4 panel, but it just says comic in parentheses. They are also doing His Little Amber. Oh Jesus, this is one for Val. Dear sister, I become a blessed maiden, but it's two dudes on the cover, so
Oh,
and very promiscuous.
she knows that one.
Yes.
Basically, yeah. Okay, yeah.
When a man takes his sister's place as a blessed maiden, his body becomes a magical tool for an arrogant sorcerer in this sexy boys love fantasy manga. That is
Mm,
yeah,
there's
that is the synopsis.
everything's so wrong about the description.
Indeed. Next up, they got Wild Love, a BL Guide to the Animal Kingdom. So there's also that. And then they have a Yuri, it looks like the delinquent and the transfer student.
Oh,
So they've got a lot of
they
interesting looking stuff, let alone good looking stuff.
they had a big booth at AnimeNYC, so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that's fair. And then we've got more licenses from Yen Press. Yen Press is doing a prequel to or prelude to Freerun Beyond Journey's End, which will be a novel.
Is
They
it
are
a
also doing. Oop,
is it a prelude or a prequel?
it says Freerun Beyond Journey's End prelude.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I assume it's a yeah. I'm not
It's
sure
the
if that's
it's
going to be prequel or just in between stories.
yeah, I that's what people are trying to figure out if it's going to be like still like right after they defeat the demon army
So
or
here's the synopsis. After the
oh,
legendary elf mage Freerun is forced to confront the cruel passage of time, she sets out on a journey to fulfill the last wishes of her friends and get to know the world a little better. Under the supervision of Kanehito Yamada, the author or writer of the original manga, comes 5 original short stories. Join Freerun, Fern, Stark,
oh,
Lawin, Kane. I don't know how to pronounce her actual name and Aura in brand new adventures. Yes,
oh,
Aura the demon girl
yeah.
who decapitates herself. So, yeah,
Still one
so
of
it
the
just sounds
hardest
like it's gonna
lines in
be
any anime.
no kidding. But it sounds like it just seems like stories intermingled between the main story.
Mhm.
So yeah, they're gonna be doing that. They also have The Legend of the Far East Savior, which is a novel as well. They will be doing the Licorice Recoil Recovery Days novel. Which, could be nice.
Just give us
Associate
no, it's
Professor
fine.
What?
No, it's fine. It's just they keep giving us these stupid little teaser things with just give us more licorice recoil, man. Stop doing all these dumb one-off spin-off short story. Just do more. Give us
Fair
more,
enough.
please.
Uh, they will also be doing Associate Professor Akira Takasuki's Conjecture
Ugh.
EX, which is also a novel.
Don't forget
I
the
know,
EX at
sorry.
the end.
Right? Casebook of Kurumi Tokisaki, Magic Detective, which is a novel. And then let's see here, we got a couple more novels before we get into some manga. But
Ugh.
The Bubble Love of the Mermaid, which is a novel, and To the Monster I Love, which is the last novel on this list. Uh,
Hmm.
then they've got a few manga that they will also be licensing. They will be doing the licensing for Bad Girl, which is currently airing right now on High Dive. I'm very far behind on that, so that'll be something I need to catch up on. They're also going to be doing Sailor Zombie Complete Omnibus, which, you know what? That looks pretty, from the cover alone. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. They will also be doing the Battlefront of the Great Powers manga, so that's pretty neat. How to Love a Loser, which is fucking what a
Love it.
title there. Yep, and then lastly, they have A Pen, Handcuffs, and a Common Law Marriage manga as well. So from the cover alone, that actually looks pretty intriguing. So
Hmm.
we'll see. And then lastly, for announcements for licensing, before we kind of get into a few really quick ones, uh, we're gonna go visit Kodansha here. Kodansha USA announces print releases for a bunch of different, or no, actually, sorry, not a bunch of different things. This is not a list. It's just one thing. They're releasing Yuna Hirasawa's Luca the Dragon Vet. Um, so yeah, no, that seems pretty neat. It's just about a person who is a veterinarian for dragons.
Cool.
So good
I
for
don't
you, Kodansha.
I can't remember if this happened first day or if it was just before Anime NYC, but we got two big Dark Horse announcements that I don't know if you pulled those up from your
Think I
articles.
did I did not. I think that did happen before.
I believe one of them was announced because I think Dark Horse did have a panel or they were a part of one. Um, or maybe they just posted it during Anime NYC. I don't know. But the big one is that they have the license for and will be releasing Billy Bat in English.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. Which, if you're not familiar, is from the author of Monster, Pluto, all those incredible series. So it's I from what I've heard, a lot of people really like that one the most.
Huh.
Like the sentiment
Interesting.
is that Billy Bat is like by and far the best series that they've written, but it's hard to say because we've never gotten it in English. But now we have it in English. And then
Heck yeah.
I think the other announcement, which is big just because it's a first for Dark Horse, is they've announced they have the license, and the title escapes me right now, so you might have to look it up. But they're licensing
I've looked it up. It's credits roll into the sea.
yeah, it's their first ever shoujo manga.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that'll be they up this is also from Anime News Network, but it's been updated that the first volume will be available on March 3rd, 2026.
Yep. So pretty big announcements out of Dark Horse. After it seemed like
Yeah.
a massive slate of announcements from them, with Lone Cub and Wolf getting the definitive editions. And then we also got the other series that they announced that they're doing an omnibus for, I think. And why can't I remember it? I can picture the title. It was old and it looked like it was gangster. I can't remember. My brain is
Dark Horse?
stopping. Yeah, Dark Horse announced it. Man, why can't we
I think
talked about it?
talk we talked about it before, but the Cub and Wolf
No, no, no. I
series?
already just said that. No, there's another one. There's an
Lone
old
Wolf and Cub Deluxe. Hold
uh,
on.
I
Oh, yeah, we talked about that one in the
huh?
past episode. I know what you're talking about.
Huh?
I can't think of the title.
No, you can't do this to me. I can't.
I can't think of the
Please.
title. Old Boy.
Old boy, thank you. God. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Dark Horse has been few and far between with their licensing, I would say, but they've been all like, well, I guess it's Dark Horse. So they
They're kinda going all in with the deluxe editions to maybe get
yeah.
some capital back so they can, like, be, "Hey, here's some more series."
Well, like even their omnibuses though too, right? Because they do corpse delivery service. I think they do Gantz as
Which
well.
they delayed number 6
Yeah, I know.
a year.
I
Ugh.
know.
Yeah, no, they used to do I mean, they still technically do the one that you just said that I just completely blanked
Gantz.
on, but, Gantz, but I don't think that there are any more that they're releasing. I think they're
No,
all
no,
out.
no. No, but what I'm saying is like they've been
Oh,
like there's not a ton, right? They're not throwing out like Seven Seas, Yen Press, Kodansha
right.
level amount of announcements, but when they do,
That's fair.
they're very exciting. So,
Yes, yes. Okay, we got a couple more things to get through real quick, and then we are going to talk all about your time at Anime NYC. So,
well,
Crunchyroll announced 7 series that they will be streaming for the fall season. So we are way behind the ball on getting our episode out. Apparently, that they've already announced 7 series.
yeah, okay.
They announced they showed off the main trailer and the key visual for Let's Play, which is something that I'm excited about, and I know your wife is excited about.
Mhm.
That is it's a not I won't say a very fun series. I've only read volume 1. It's a fun series. They will also be doing part 2 of Fire Force season 3, and then they had a few other smaller trailers and announcements. They will also be streaming Past the Monster Meet Milady, uh, SI Vis The Sound of Heroes, The Banished Court Magician Aims to Become the Strongest, and A Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai. So those will all be premiering on Crunchyroll for the fall season starting in October. So we're only a few weeks away from that because holy crap, August is already almost over.
Yeah, I mean, we have all of September, so calm down.
We
Someone's
got a
someone's
month.
birthday may not be in the next month. Calm down. Fucking dick.
um, I know. Anyways, we do have 2 more really quick hits, and then we will get into it. First being G Kids has announced that they will be screening a 4K resolutions adaptation or not adaptation. a 4K adaptation basically of
Version.
Satoshi Kon's version. Thank you, version of Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue in the U.S. on October 3rd. Now, if you've not seen this movie, this is aged like scarily good wine. Like this is a very like freaky movie, especially for the fact that it was made in the early 2000s, if not the late 90s. Like
Hmm.
it's aged incredibly well in a very horrific way. If you've not seen it, I highly suggest you go see it in your local theater if it is available to you. Again, that's on October 3rd, and more than likely it'll get a Blu-ray release as well, like a 4K Blu-ray release, because that's been happening a lot with G Kids. They've been doing like Summer Wars, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, et cetera, et cetera. They've been giving them like a day or two in the theaters, and then releasing them on 4K Blu-ray.
Correct me if
And
I'm
then the
wrong
last one,
too. Perfect Blue is one that's banned in a lot of countries, right? Is it Perfect Blue or Paprika?
I don't remember. I don't know if Perfect Blue is really banned. If it is, it's only banned in a couple countries.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a not wonderful
It.
movie. It is a freaky movie, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it is incredibly well done.
Yeah.
So, and the last story, which wasn't technically at Anime NYC, but it is still very interesting for the fact that it looks adorable. The Food Diary of Mismade manga gets a TV anime adaptation in 2026. And this series just looks like adorable. Like I saw the thumbnail for it, I was like, this looks cute. And reading what the series is about, yeah, confirmed. What's a maid to do when she finds herself suddenly stuck in Japan for a year? Eat, of course. Follow maid in training Suzume Tachibana as she tries all sorts of Japanese food, from sweets to taiyaki to melon bread to savory snacks like takoyaki and onigiri. Be warned though, when Suzume sates her appetite, though, delicious treat after delicious treat, she might just end up wetting yours. So
Oh.
there's that. Oh, it looked adorable. So I wanted to add that in. But on to the main topic of the show, Anime NYC. You, sir, went with your wife yet again to another convention without me because
Yet
I could not
again.
attend for various reasons. Um, and we're able to do a panel. We were very fortunate enough this year that you and I were able to do panels at what I would consider probably the two biggest anime conventions in the United States, both Anime Expo and Anime NYC. So the only difference is, between the 2, which I assume, is that you were able to get a photo at this one of you
Yeah.
in the crowd after your panel, compared to where we did not at Anime Expo, and that is, like, one of my biggest regrets.
We
So,
forgot.
tell me about how did the panel go? What was the experience like doing it again, and what was the experience like doing it with, somebody who is not an anime fan, AKA Billy the Door?
It was. I feel like this version of the presentation we put on, I think just because we've done it a handful of times now, was probably the best.
I
Um,
see how it is.
and it was
It's just because Billy's there and I'm
just
not.
because Billy's there. Well, I think when we put it on at Anime Expo, it was like a oh shit your pants moment type thing. And I think having done it at that level, I was like, it's Anime NYC. It's still big. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
It's still one of the biggest cons in North America, let alone the United States. But I was like, we tackled Anime Expo. I could do anything. So
Anything is possible.
it was a little bit more fluid, but the presentation went really well and the reception was really good. I think we probably had, I don't know, you saw the picture, probably had like 60 ish, 70 ish people right around
Yeah.
there. Um, I will say it was nice that we were at 8 p.m. on Friday versus 10:30 on a Thursday.
Yeah, I
So
can imagine.
that helped. And oddly enough, I think this was the thing I noticed pretty quickly when we were attending. The programming schedule wasn't jam packed. There were a lot of
Oh,
time slots where there was just like one thing going on. Like it was like just the
okay.
one thing. Granted, they had it spaced between like every 15 minutes, so you could have like two things going on at 4, one at 4:15, four things at
Yeah.
4:30. But it was like for the amount of industry panels they had, there was equal
Mhm.
parts. Um,
Community panels.
yeah, I would say, if not slightly less, there might have been closer to like 65 ish to 35% in terms of industry to community.
Okay. That's still
So
a pretty darn good split.
yeah, but it didn't feel like when we put on our panel at Anime Expo, we probably had like 3 or 4 other panels we were competing against, like community
Yeah.
panels. AnimeNYC, it was like us. You could have gone to the HoloLive concert, or I think there was like one other pretty big industry thing going on. It was like just there was 3. That was it
Okay.
for like the entire 8 o'clock time period on Friday. So I felt like, and again, this is not doing like a 1-to-1 comparison in this regard, but it felt more impressive getting the invite from AnimeNYC than it was Anime Expo. Just purely based on the number of scheduled hosted panels that they had running.
Okay.
For the community versus like industry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Like
there was
so
just
you're saying like community panels were hosted by still like big name people or like voice actors or something like a Pro ZD or
yeah,
like
I mean there was a handful. Yeah, there was a handful of those panels, but like I think just in general, like the schedule was significantly less than Anime Expo, just as a whole. Even though it
yeah.
was 4 days, like it didn't feel like there was. It didn't feel like every single second of the day was jam packed with like just too many things layered on top, where you had to like, every hour you're picking between like 5 different things you really want to do. It was like, oh, this hour slot I have like 2 things I can decide between, but then I have like an hour and a half break, and then I really want to go to this one, and then I've got another little break. Like Anime Expo was like, shit, I want to do this, 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 and this, and I only have 2 hours
Go,
to do
go,
all
go,
of
go,
them.
go.
Yeah, it's like I got to figure out what I want to do. So, just uh, the scheduling seemed to be much more relaxed in terms of fitting in everything they wanted to, and that
Okay.
meant that there was just there you had a lot more time and flexibility to go and wander around the exhibit halls or artist alley. But then again, for us for putting on our panel, that meant like we're not competing against a bunch of other ones for attention, and 2, it felt more satisfying getting the invite, because it just seemed like it was a harder buy-in, um, given the amount of scheduled panels that they had hosted. So, but no, it was fantastic. We had a blast. Everyone was great. We had plenty of questions at the end. People chatted with us afterwards. We had all positive feedback, which was great to hear. Even the audiovisual guy, who was a hoot, he like very, very fucking New York, coming up, and he's like some
Hey,
of
I'm
these
walking you.
he's like some of these people have put on panels. He's like some of them. He's like, I watched one last time. It was like, making cosplays, and he's like, they take fucking like styrofoam and stuff, or they're like, hey, you see that old bin? You could just transform that into this. I was like, that's fucking cool. He's like, I learned so much. And he's like, but then other ones, I'm just back there, and I'm like, I feel you. I was like, well, we'll know we're doing bad if we see you stupid. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna be on my phone the whole time. I was like, all right. But then afterwards, he came up to us. A super nice guy. He came up to us. He's like, that was pretty good. And I was like, we got a pretty good from him. I'll take it. He seemed like a harsh critic. I'll take a pretty good from a fucking New Yorker. I'll take it. So that was a blast.
Nice. And how did our boy Billiam do?
Great. He was good comedic. He jumped in at the perfect times. He had excellent comedic timing. No
Good.
input whatsoever on anime or tattooing, but he jumped in where he could. So
I wonder why he wouldn't have any input. I think the only thing he's
well,
seen really is your name and maybe an episode of Attack on Titan.
he originally we were gonna have him like record us, and then we were like, well, we'll just set up the camera here and record, and then we were like, well, what if he runs around with a mic? People have questions, and the audiovisual
Like
guy was
you had me do.
yeah. Well, the audiovisual guy was like, he's like, oh no, I got that. It was like if there's like a wireless mic, we say, he's like, nah, he's like, it'll get me up out of my seat. I'll just go run around. If people put their hands up, I'll just hand them the mic. I'm like, all right. It's like, Billy, you're stuck up
Okay.
on stage with us. Just sit there, look pretty.
And pretty he is. And
Yes.
I'm not just saying that because he may or may not be able to hear this.
Well, you're saying that like he doesn't have the capability of looking up. That yes, he probably can hear this, bud. He has.
For those of you who don't know, we do record these live on twitch.tv/ Bakacopodcast. Say hi to Billy.
Yeah, hi Billy. Um,
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, so well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that the crowd size is pretty much the same. The response was pretty good. Were there any kind of, not necessarily interruptions, but did people like leave the panel expecting one thing and just kind of like, I'm a dip out? Or
not
was
really.
it pretty like everybody like locked in and was just paying attention the
Ev-
entire time?
Everyone seemed pretty glued to the presentation. We had a couple of people like stragglers that came in and came out, throughout the presentation, like maybe mainly towards the beginning. But for the most part, like people were there again. We got some good laughs, which is always a good sign that they're paying attention and listening to us. So that's good. Um, very good questions as well. We learned from our previous one and put in like an FAQ from questions that were asked last time, which was great. So that helped. But no, it was just I I felt again, it seemed like based on the time slot that we had being at Friday at 8 p.m. because there was only one other presentation after ours, so there was like a later
Right.
night one, right? Because I think everything closed down at 10, so it
Okay.
wasn't it wasn't as late as Anime Expo because Anime Expo went until like the wee hours of the morning. It felt like everything closed down at 10. It seemed like either people were wrapping up doing like in the games area because there was a games area down below where they were hosting all of these different panel rooms. A couple halls
Right.
down, there were people like just like getting out of the exhibit halls as they were closing, or there were people just kind of loitering about, right? So it was
Right.
realistically just like you either go to a panel or you just wander around and go home. So that helped as well bring people in, I think. But like everyone, it was funny because we were waiting to get into the room when the previous panel ended to like set up and stuff because we had to be there 15 minutes ahead of time. But it was like panel ends, that's when your 15-minute timer starts. So it was kind of like a go go go. But people started lining up behind us. They're like, "Do you know if this is the tattoo panel?" And I was like, yeah, it is. And they're like, "Oh, okay. I just want to make sure we're waiting in line." And I looked behind. I was like, "Oh shit, we did start a line. Okay."
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to. So that was gonna that's kind of a good follow into the next question. How was the logistics of this place? Because like we discussed about Anime Expo and how horrendously bad the lines kind of were in the
Yeah.
sense of just like logistically placing them.
Yeah.
Was this a lot better? Was this worse? You know,
So in the context of panels, Anime NYC was insurmountably better than Anime Expo, which is not a hard feat. If you
thing one.
yeah, if you did not listen to our Anime Expo recap or are not aware, we learned the hard way after attending for the first time this year. But the the rooms where all the different panels are hosted, and these are the industry panels, which have massive, massive halls. We're talking like in a basically a hotel-sized ballroom conference center type, like that level, billions of rows it felt like of chairs. Like there's like 3 or 4 of those at Anime Expo, okay? Huge ones. Then there's kind of medium size where there's probably good 500 seats, I would say. And then you
Yeah.
had the smaller ones that were like 200 to 300 seats, which is where our panel was. But these weren't rooms were scattered about, not only the convention hall, but also into like the hotel that was connected or nearby.
Okay.
Um, no, this is Anime Expo. So
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, sorry,
talking
sorry.
Anime Expo, giving the whole
Yep, yep,
description
yep,
of
yep,
Anime
yep, yep.
Expo. Okay, you'd think with all that room, talking 3 levels in a hotel, talking massive rooms down to smaller rooms in the actual convention center, that queuing up wouldn't be a big issue. You got the space, right? Wrong. Every single room you queued for, didn't matter the size, you had to line up outside. They would direct you. So if you were outside one of the smaller rooms, let's say the room that we presented in, Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Okay? You're thinking
Yep.
late at night, smaller room, smaller crowd too. They should be able to line up, just kind of gather around inside, right? Nope. They had personnel be like, "Are you here for this panel? Excellent. Go outside." And usher them out to a queue outside, where I was told after the fact, the individuals who came to our panel had to go up a quote creepy little side stairwell thing and then go into our room. To paint the picture as to why this is idiotic, not a soul was on the floor where our panel room was leading up to, like, even 30 minutes before our panel started. There's no one. Absolutely
There's
no
just
one.
people loitering around
Yeah.
bathrooms.
There was like just like us. Like we were sitting there kind of prepping materials, getting finished up, getting wanted to get in there right when we could, right?
Studying last second notes.
So they could have just stayed out there, right? You know, mingle about. No. They still had to go outside and queue to get into this panel room. For why? No clue, other than, I guess, trafficking purposes. But they did that for every single panel throughout the entire convention at Anime Expo, and it was a nightmare. AnimeNYC, free, go about. You have ample room. I think this was, again, going to my earlier point on the scheduling itself, it did lend itself to the fact that there were a much less rooms that they actually hosted these panels and presentations in. So like they had like two big stages. It was like the main stage and the Sakura stage, right? And those ones had their own dedicated lines tucked way back by wherever the entrance was to the stage. So like it didn't like seep out into the general ways or anything like that. Like it was all strategically structured to where you're queuing up right next to your area away from everyone else. Nice and convenient.
Right.
The remaining rooms were kind of partitioned out between the halls. There was 5 halls, A through E. And because there was so much space, you could just hang about there and you're not getting in anyone's way. So like for our room, I think it held 150 chairs-ish. People just kind of chilled about and then came in on their own. It was easy. It was like no foot traffic problems, no like I'm squishing into people left and right trying to get into this room. Like it was very simple. And they had, each hall had like, I want to say 5 or 6 of these types of rooms, all of which were being used basically, either for panels or for like lounge areas, whatever.
To paint an internal picture, was it similar to like an PAX East where it's like you just kind of sat outside the room in like a major kind of like big line, and then it's just like they kind of consolidated people from this big line into a room?
Yeah, kind of. The thing is that all of the rooms that were in these halls were kind of off into the corners. So the way that the expo center was the hall was laid out was you walk in and you're technically on like I want to say like 3rd floor, right when you enter the convention hall.
Sure.
And you can go straight into the exhibit hall, or you can go down these escalators to like a food court area, and then further down the escalators to kind of like these, it seemed like a parking garage type, but they were sectioned off very long halls that had a walkway, and in these walkways were all of the panel rooms, and then beyond into these big open spaces, they either had like the gaming area, or one of the big stages, or I think like HoloLive stage might have been down there, or it was just empty. There was like 2 that were just empty. I was like, oh god, wasted space. But it was made navigating everything pretty easy, because you knew like, okay, bottom floor, all of the panels, all of the halls, the stages and everything, all on the 1st floor. 2nd floor, food. 3rd floor, exhibit hall, vendors, artist alley, which I'll get to that in a second. So it was like, it was well laid out from that point. And again, didn't feel like you were stomping over someone to try to get into rooms, or like getting different queues mixed up, trying to figure out who's going to which panel. It was really,
Where you
really
had to hold
easy.
on to, like, whoever you're with in order to not
Yeah.
get separated.
None of that stuff for the panels.
Okay, so then what I'm hearing then, panel room size and panel rooms themselves, pretty even split between Anime Expo, Anime NYC. The line queues will give the tally to NYC rather than LA. And general layout positions of everything we're giving to NYC rather than Anime Expo.
Yes.
Perfect.
Easily.
One thing I do want to ask real quick before you get into away from our panel that we or that you did. I say
Yes.
our panel, your panel. Um, what were like the recording rules? Were you able to record the panel if you wanted to? Did you have to
Free
buy
to
a
record.
permit? Like,
Nope.
okay,
Free to record.
perfect.
That's
Did
another.
you record?
Yes, we recorded some of it. My wife
Okay.
decided to bash her knee into the table and disrupt the recording, and then I don't think she set it up again. But it did record. um,
That is yeah, no, that's
yeah.
see, if I
So
were there, that would have been me, and Val would have been like, "Frank, you fucked it all up."
yeah. So
But
I'm gonna I'm
anyways,
gonna I'm gonna go through all of the like. Here are the big positives from Anime NYC versus Anime Expo first. Okay, so panel got through the panel stuff. Okay, thought that was excellent.
lovely.
The and this is like I don't know if this is something that is kind of petty on my behalf or
We're always
other
petty.
other people would agree with me, but when you go to a convention and if you're invited there as a professional, a content creator, press, whatever, right? Whatever role, professional,
Right.
industry, you kind of have this expectation that like I got here because of the work I provide or, it could just be something as simple as my name because certain people just have that level of notoriety, right? Like you just
We do not, but other people do,
right.
yes.
We've been given these opportunities because of what we do for the channel and all the content we create. So like, it's great to be recognized and given these opportunities. It's like it's truly an honor, nothing that we expect by any means. It's something that we don't take for granted whatsoever. Now, that aside, I did kind of feel slighted by Anime Expo not getting like a badge that said like panelist
Yeah.
or like anything like there was just like a marking even. It could have been like a little
Like
sticker.
content creator, could have been a badge,
Something,
like a
right?
little
It
like a
was
little badge that you put on the side of
it
it.
was just a 4-day badge,
Yep.
which is fine. We got it for free, not complaining by any means. But 4-day
I would love to go
badge,
back next year.
absolutely. Yeah, please let us come back.
Oh,
Uh
please. Anyways.
not complaining whatsoever, but with a 4-day general admission badge, it means you're waiting in the same queues. It means you're not getting access to certain areas that you kind of expect at times. There were just a lot of limitations, which again, it's Anime Expo. It's our first time there. We completely wholeheartedly appreciated from the bottoms of our heart the opportunity to present. So by no means is this me, you know, backstepping and really coming down onto Anime Expo and being like, why didn't you provide for us? We deserve so much more. Not that at all. But it was just odd. It felt weird because every other convention
Yeah.
we had gone to at that point had like either dedicated badges or specific areas where you could spend time if you're being brought there to do something either as press, content creator, panelist, whatever. Anime NYC, not only did we get panel badges. Yes, panel. Not panelist, panel. We got panel badges.
Oh, huh.
Not only did we get panel badges, the badge themselves had different art on it, which I was like immediately very cool. But we got in through a special entrance. So like you
Ooh
probably
la
saw all these
la.
videos. Yeah, I know. You probably saw all these videos on like Thursday even because it was the first time Anime NYC had a 4-day convention. It was always 3 before. So like I'm sure Thursday was
Oh,
busy.
interesting.
We didn't get the opportunity to get there until Thursday night, so we didn't go. But I was seeing videos already like Thursday into Friday, like, oh my gosh, the crowds are insane. It's taking an hour plus to get in. Oh my God, what's going to happen? And I'm like, eesh, that doesn't sound good. You get there and they're like, oh yeah, you get to go through this entrance. And we're like, pardon? Like, yeah, no,
Heck
you go
yeah.
through here. You're technically you're categorized as professional. It was right in through the main entrance to the convention hall. No line. Boom, you're in. And I'm like,
Nice.
ho, all right, okay, there we go. And we had access to a professional lounge. So it was just like it was nothing crazy, nothing special, not like you're not getting free food or drinks or anything. It's just an area to sit down and relax for a hot second that
So
we
like
had
a
access to.
MomoCon, the lounge at MomoCon where other creators could go, they could just
Yeah,
sit down, leave their business
e-
cards, chat amongst each other, etc.
exactly. Yeah, which was great. It was like just a nice place to go and relax, walking through all those concrete
Nice.
halls. So it was good. It just Anime NYC felt like you're like, yeah, like this is something where they're really giving back to the panelists and those who are coming here to put on, a host a
To help
performance
provide
or
content for the
yeah,
convention.
yeah, you're filling in time for the convention, you're providing a service, and it's nice to feel like they're giving back too, not just in the ticket, which again, super appreciative of. It's a 4-day ticket for Anime NYC, I think was like $180 or something, right? It's nothing to scoff at. We got 3 of them, which is fantastic for free. Like it's great. But like just that extra level of I guess appreciation on behalf of Anime NYC for those who are attending in a professional capacity to
Right.
like be given those amenities was just like again nice little cherry on top, we'll say. So another
Yeah.
tick in favor of Anime NYC compared to our experience at Anime Expo. Again, not saying Anime Expo was bad. Please invite us back. We loved you.
I had a great time. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, 100% agree. It's just the differences between the con. That's all we're
yeah,
talking about.
exactly. Um, and then I there was something else. Oh, shockingly, you're not gonna believe this when I tell you this, but shockingly, the food selection was wild at Anime NYC. Like there were so many different food vendors, not just in the hall, but they had like food trucks outside. They had a whole space in the exhibit hall for just all of these pop up, like at Anime Expo when we went outside and there was
Mhm.
all those vendors in the street.
Yeah, they're all the food trucks, etc. Yeah.
That same amount was inside in their
Oh,
own
so you didn't have
dedicated
to beat
Japanese.
the heat.
Yeah, exactly. They were inside, and there was a whole area called like I think it was like the Japanese, like street vendor hall or something, or court or whatever. But it was just like, it was a massive portion of the exhibit hall, which was already humongous to begin with, just
Right.
with those food vendors, not to mention the ones that are already in the convention center, which were on the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor, and the 1st floor in areas too. Like there was
Damn,
food everywhere. And it was great
that's kinda
because it
nice.
was it was by convention standards not crazy. Certain food was. I saw Billy was in line to get tacos, which looked incredible, and they were priced pretty okay for convention. Right next to it was
They're
taco.
convention price.
Yeah, right next to it was takoyaki. Do you want to guess how much just one tray of takoyaki, which I imagine was just 8 balls, was?
I'm gonna go $10.
$18.
Fuck what?
Yeah, $18. I was like, holy moly. So you
That's
certainly like
nearly $2 a ball.
yeah. You could certainly no, it's more. It was like 8 balls. It was like 225 or something. It was wild. Wild.
That's
So
that's
like
ridiculous.
certain food was like Jesus, but like other food, like we got, I mean, like just getting like a bottle of water and a tea was like $5-6, so it wasn't terrible, right? And it's New York prices too, so in terms of like comparison to LA, it's basically just as expensive, if not more, in New York. So I was like, okay, all right, I see you, Anime NYC. The space is smaller than Anime Expo, but goddamn, did they fit in just food everywhere? So that meant like lines throughout the entire convention weren't terrible. Granted, like everyone wanted to go eat in the Japanese food court area, obviously.
Right.
So like those
For
lines got
reasons.
long at times, but like you could go out to the main area, stop by and get like, chicken fingers or a burger or, even like a salad or something. And those lines were like nothing. Like
Yeah.
grab and go basically that quick. So
Yeah.
another check off again. Just again for general experience. Again, if people are like, you're there for the anime convention. Why the fuck you care about food? Like it's still you're there. If you're there for like 8 to 10 hours a day, like you get hungry, man. Like, yeah, you could leave, but then you gotta go back in the lines. So that's
So
definitely
we've got about 4-0 essentially for
so. Yeah, I mean, I will say overall experience, Anime NYC, great time. Um, I think going to now the I don't even want to call them negatives, but like in favor of Anime Expo, you kind of
areas to improve.
it's not so much areas. Well, there's one area of well, two areas of improvement, but just in terms of like convention experience, especially one that's hosted by Crunchyroll, the biggest difference. And again, I've already alluded to it a number of times. You even talked about it basically in your news segment. The announcements weren't like anything crazy. Like there was nothing really of substance they announced.
Which I
A
feel like
lot
is wild
of
'cause I feel like historically, Anime NYC has a lot of the bigger, crazier announcements. Like, Anime
and
Expo
I
has, like, more of the guests, but
yeah.
Anime NYC has more of the announcements and big reveals.
And I don't know if it's because Anime Expo this year seemed like it was just chock full of announcements, or if it's just simply due to the fact that like you're basically getting back to back Crunchyrolls within a month and a half of one another.
It
Uh,
could be.
and during that time, I mean, Crunchyroll's already throwing out announcements left and right too, even in between the conventions. So
Yeah.
this Anime NYC felt more like, as you went through in the articles, a lot of licensing news, which again, not snuffing at,
Still
right? Like
exciting, but
it's
not
still
like it's not like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna cream my pants right
you're
now."
not getting first look trailers at like a series that's coming out next season. You're not getting like exclusive dubbing sessions from the Japanese voice actors. You're not even getting like a like what's to come for this particular studio and like what they're going to bring out next. Like it's I think the biggest reveal was Rooster Fighter got like the full trailer and people could go watch the
Okay.
Rooster Fighter trailer. Um, High Dive had a couple of ones, but they weren't big by any means. Like they had an English dubbing for Call of the Night live, which I'm like, that's cool, but
Yeah.
it was like the voice actors are there, like it's cool, like that's fun. They
But,
announced,
I know you don't wanna say it, but at the same time, I'll say it for you. The voice acting for Call of the Night English dub is pretty abysmal.
I
Um,
it took a lot
I
of
know you don't wanna say it, but I will.
it took a
I will
lot of
because
strength.
High Dive, you really need to improve
It took a
your
lot of
dubbing,
strength for me to not go up to the High Dive booth and be like, "Hi, do you accept applications
please.
for voice actors because you
Please
desperately
help.
need more
Please
voice
help. Please
actors?"
help. Please help
Uh,
yourself.
and this is not a snub to the voice actors. I think a lot of it is the
Yeah.
casting type for characters, which this is going to be a side note at the very end as like my final just completely separate. Remind me, talk about something that angered me dearly. Um, but like High Dive did that. They did the Rock is Lady's Modesty in English dub announcement. And then they did the Yandere Dark Elf English
Yeah.
dub too. So like there's some fun stuff, right? And again, Yen Press had a big one. Seven Seas had a big one. There was a couple of smaller publishers that were there for like very specific genres of manga, like BL. There was like I think one or two different BL publishers there that had a panel as well. So like there was a lot of publishing licensing manga panels, which was cool.
Right.
But certainly
Yeah.
not like the level that you get at Anime Expo, where like again you're sitting in a room with like 2,000 other people watching the Japanese voice actors go through like a dubbing session basically, or seeing for the first time like a trailer for an upcoming series or movie or whatever. So that experience was certainly in favor of Anime Expo. Again, not to discredit Anime NYC, it's just it certainly wasn't like the big draw that gets people to Anime NYC.
That's fair. And then you were gonna mention something about Artist Alley. You brought
Yes,
it up briefly, and you're like, "I'm
was
gonna talk about it later."
that was
So,
my next
just
point.
move things along. Yeah,
That was my very next
let's
point.
okay,
The layout of
good.
Artist Alley in the exhibitor hall was horrendous.
Oh,
Basically,
no.
imagine a giant rectangle and spread it
Yeah,
out long ways into thirds. The first third, the first third, your big exhibitors, talking Crunchyroll, talking High Dive, talking Seven Seas, all of them, Viz, first
yeah,
third. Second third, vendors. So your general vendors of like
The
anime
people who
merch,
have, like, the
gear,
giant fucking
plushies,
things
yeah,
of
all that stuff,
figures, etcetera.
all
Okay.
that stuff. The last third, artists. So they're basically
Ooh.
all squeezed into this same giant rectangle, but rather than going short ways and being like this third in
Yeah.
this box is your exhibitors, this third is your vendors, this third is your artists. No, it's split long ways. So not only are you fighting through artist alley lines, which are already chaotic to begin with, Anime Expo didn't do much better, but was honestly better organized than this. You're like, the moment you exit, you're like smashed into other people, into the vendors, and then you're like, next thing you know, you're accidentally in line to like queue up for some thing that like Viz is putting on, or like getting in line to sift through trash in the Gachiakuta booth, which was there again from Anime
I
Expo.
saw that it was there
Yeah,
again at the Crunchyroll thing, like, their
yeah,
social media, they're like, "Day 3," and it's just, like, people digging through
digging through
trash again, it's just
garbage
like, "Oh,
again.
boy."
Yeah, that was horrendous. That was so poorly laid out. Now, navigating it, totally easy because you had numbers for your vendors and exhibitors. You had letters for your artists. So you could look up on the app, and
It's kinda nice.
the app you didn't have to have internet, which fuck you, convention center, Javatis Convention Center, for not having cell boosters. The moment you enter this place was like entering a prison. No signal.
That is fair. You did call me because there was one booth I wanted you to look
It was
at,
my
merch
call was
for
probably
me,
like
and oh, I didn't the first phone call, I could hear you. Then we got off to get onto Discord, which it was a slideshow to and I didn't hear you at
no.
all, and then the second call
It
was, like, dial-up.
Yeah. No, it was horrendous. They don't have any cell boosters in there, so the moment you enter it, good luck doing any sort of like social media
Oof.
posting, like just even fucking yeah, like texting or calling people. Like we would lose each other from time to time. Texting, you just couldn't get a text through. Like nothing. It was a concrete box of hell to try to do any sort of like communication with the outside world. Awful. Get fucking cell boosters, man. Like it is a 21st century. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
bad.
yeah. But upside was the app pre-downloaded. You could search up if you knew a vendor or an artist. You can search them up,
Okay.
find their booth easy. You could save it. Super easy to navigate. That was fine. But that's the only positive. The rest of it, fucking atrocious in terms of the layout. It was crowded back to back. And because it's crowded back to back, I kept seeing all these social media posts. This is basically my final big tick. It was smelly. And it wasn't
Oh,
even that hot.
no.
It was not even that hot. It was just smelly. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Tyler, New York is smelly. You're fucking right, it is. That place stinks like ass. That it smells, no matter where you walk, it smells like piss, shit, or vomit. One of
Mm.
the three, or a combination of the three. Not a pleasant city. It constantly stinks. So to have those smells in the convention center where you feel like, oh, finally, I'm inside, it's air conditioned, I'm away from all the turmoil of the outside world of New York City. Nope, stinky, smelly on the inside too. I don't know what was happening. I don't know what was going on. I think it was just because everyone's so clustered together because the exhibit hall was laid out so poorly. It just people were stinky, and it's totally
Okay,
fine.
hold
It's
on.
not the fault of
Is it
people.
was it the people were stinky, or was it the city that was permeating through the walls
It could have
stinky?
been the city. It could have been, for all I know. But the experience was certain areas you just pass by and there's just clusters of people everywhere, and you're thinking, man, oh man, it is smelly. And this is not body shaming, okay? I am a dude. I smell at times, all right? I wear deodorant as much as possible, but yes, after a while it does break down, okay? I get it. But for a convention center of that size, and again, as I noted before, there were 2 areas in the basement that were empty, completely empty. You could have done something with it, right? The upstairs was just fucking packed. It was just think of the Gachiakuta booth where you grab
Yeah.
garbage, right?
Yeah.
Right next to it. I'm talking right next to it. The HoloLive booth. So that you're talking
Oh,
like
it was
people
loud.
waiting in line to go sift through trash, and then right next to them are like 200 plus people, if not more, with their light sticks because all these different Hololive creators keep coming up and doing their own little like mini show in the exhibit hall. So they're all gathered around. So you're getting like a line of people waiting to sift through trash, a line of people, a massive group of people watching Hololive. Meanwhile, you're just a regular pleb being like, fuck, I just want to get over to the Seven Seas booth to goon and all the manga that is coming out from them because they just produced the most down bad type of series. Let me through. I just want to get there. And you're fighting through people. It was bad.
From
Lay
what
it
you've
out
just
better.
said in from what you've just said in the memes that you've been sending me all weekend, Tyler, are you gooning to all the femboy stuff that
Yes.
Seven Seas has to offer?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
I
There's no
am.
shame. There's no kink shaming there.
No.
But you have been sending a lot of femboy shit to me, and I'm
So,
just questioning things.
all those videos are so funny.
They are
Anytime,
really
as
funny.
much as I don't like the Death Note series, anytime somebody uses the stupid fucking meme of L and Light doing the zoom effect blast through between each other, and the caption's just like me when I'm trying to prove to that my bro is actually into femboys, it gets me every time. I don't care how many different variations I see, I laugh every time.
It is good.
But yeah, that was a major tick in favor of Anime Expo versus AnimeNYC. AnimeNYC, figure out the layout next year, please, for the love of God.
It sounds more of a, instead of figure out the layout, utilize your space better. Because it sounds like they had like a parking garage that was not
they had
used at
two.
all.
They had two basically. And like the game area was huge. I didn't even know. Like MomoCon has a dedicated game area, and it's pretty big as well. But I'm talking like indie publishers coming in to demo games, and then they had a bar in that same area and a tabletop area to rent board games, and then like you could have driven a tank through the aisles of the gaming center. You couldn't drive a fucking unicycle through some of the alleyways in the main exhibit hall. Like it was that tight. So just figure it out next year. Reconstruct your layout. Use your space more widely.
To wrap us all up and finish us off, what angered you so dearly?
Okay, this is not related to the expo whatsoever, but
okay,
I saw it during, and it pained me. And so I have like this one negative like experience in the back of my head from AnimeNYC. Do you know who the Muffin Man is? No. Did you see the trailer for Don Season 2? It's technically labeled the Trailer 3. There's a character. Did you see it?
I have not watched the trailer. I know what arc is coming next, and I'm very excited.
You know what arc is coming next. Wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy. You're probably ecstatic. There's a wonderful, hilarious character that's upcoming that my wife has shown me numerous panels of, and I was like, this is my boy. I'm for sure going to cosplay him at some point. He is going to be one of my favorite. You know who he's voiced by?
No.
Fucking Bryce Papenbrook.
Lovely. Fucking hell yes.
Are you kidding me? Are you unironically happy? His voice does not match this dude at all. If you're not aware, Bryce Papenbrook, voice of many notorious characters like Eren Yeager, Sir Meliodas, and tons more. Inosuke from Demon Slayer, English voice actor, we'll say, has basically one range, and it's raspy high pitch. My dude
that totally fits this dude. It totally fits.
It does not. It does not. My wife, when I showed her the trailer, I was like, "Oh no, you're not gonna like this." Her first reaction was, "Well, we have to watch it subtitled now," and she refuses to watch it. She refuses to watch anime subbed. She is like a dub, mainly because having to read subtitles that quickly, it gets to be a lot, while also trying to pay attention to what's happening. She's like, "No, we're watching this subtitled." She's like, "No,
no, I just watched like the first 3 seconds of that trailer. No, it fits perfectly.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, with that character,
you have so much brain damage, either from beaver nuggets or your weird beers, your weird beers that you drink. You have severe brain damage because brain damage. You reacting in a positive way. I could name 5,000 different voice actors that would be significantly better in terms of fitting this character than Bryce Papenbrook. And by no means is this a slight against Bryce Papenbrook. He voices some incredible characters that certainly fit his range perfectly. However, Mr. 10-gallon all-beef Wang does not need the voice of Inosuke from Demon Slayer or Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. You know who my pick was? Who I really wanted it to be, because by golly, he would have fit it not only just voice perfectly, but personality even more. Pro
You're gonna
ZD.
say Ian Oh, I thought you were gonna say
Pro
Ian Sinclair.
ZD. That boy would have been the ideal candidate for this character. But no, they went with fucking screechy, high-pitched, just want to gouge your eyes out sometimes, Bryce Papenbrook. And again, no hate towards Bryce. If you listen to this, hi. But man, sometimes you got to say no. Okay, sometimes the studio might come to you and be like, "Hey, we want you to voice this or try out for this." This was a situation, Bryce, where you should have looked at the character and been like, "You know what? I don't think I'm the right fit. I'm gonna pass." You could have taken the high road, Bryce, but you didn't.
Sucks about that. I think the voice that he put on was fine. To be fair, I'm watching this subtitled anyway, so it doesn't really affect me all too much.
We
But
need to do brain scans on you. I fear you don't have one.
anyways, I had nothing to say there, but okay.
Drool.
And for those who are wondering, Frank, why did you not go with the Magically Average to the Anime NYC? I last minute basically planned, and by last minute I mean month planned, and then everything that we decided to do, except for maybe one or two things, uh deviated from the plan. Put on a bachelor not bachelor party for my soon to be brother-in-law. So I had a few people come to town, and we did a bunch of fun things around the DFW area, including waking up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning so we can hop in line for the #1 rated barbecue in Texas.
Again,
So
something.
not gonna complain. It was delicious. It is the best barbecue I've ever had. It was fucking delicious.
If I put if I put my ear up to your head, will I hear the ocean? Is it just like
probably. Yeah, as the saying goes, you've got a smooth brain, no wrinkles, no bumps.
You got
Just
a
whatever.
smooth.
Just no,
You got
it's
smooth.
smooth.
It's just
It's
you got
JB Smooth.
yeah. It's as smooth
It's
as it can
JB
be.
Smooth up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a fun weekend, so I wasn't able to attend. Plus, I've also not financially recovered from the past few months, aka Anime Expo, and also just expenditures that I've had on my own
Yeah.
since then. Looking at pre-orders that I completely forgot about were happening. So yeah, so I have not been able to financially recover to the point where I could have attended this event. Plus, I had to do that. So
Well, got a head start for next year, bud. Because
got a head start for next year.
we'll see you again, stinky New York. You and your rats
Assuming
can't
we're
keep me
invited,
away.
King rats.
Yeah.
No. Assuming we get invited back, it'd be nice to go. Just got to figure out all the PTO with me going to Japan next year. So there's that. But yes,
Brag.
but instead, that will be later. As of now, thank you all for joining us this week. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back next week with a brand new episode in which we got to discuss if we are going to be recording on a Monday or Tuesday because of the holiday next week. So, okay. Yeah,
What is it? We're not we don't follow government holidays. What do you want you want me to pay you for time off? Get to work.
No,
shithead.
If you had, I don't know what plans you have next Monday. I don't know if you're gonna be here. Just
You
like,
never ask me.
elsewhere. You never ask me
You
either.
never care about me enough to ask.
Thank you for joining us this week, viewers. We greatly appreciate it.
Don't.
But again, we will be back next week at some capacity at some time, either Monday or Tuesday, recording this live for your viewing pleasure on Wednesdays. If you want more of us, oh, God, that was a fucking voice crack and a half. Hey, gosh, Mickey.
No.
Um, if you want more of us, you can find us on social media at Bakacopodcast, where we are trying to upload shorts pretty weekly, if not daily. So catch us there. But until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.